Good morning, everybody. Let's see. Okay, happy August. I'm really excited that it's the first or really the second of the month now, but I just love the beginning of the month. I just feel like it's always like a fresh start, and it just, I don't know, like it puts me in a whole nother level of a mood, which is like a good thing. So, super excited. One second, you guys. I want to do this because I get distracted with noise very, very easily, and just in case anybody else hops on. Okay. All right. Okay, so this one today, it's called Be Present, and I've really been working on this in my own life of being super present and wanting to be like very aware of my surroundings and being very aware of where I'm at in the moment and just like anytime. And I've been reading the book Think Like a Monk, and it had like a section in the book where it was just saying like be really really present and focus on the things that you see in the moment. Try next time you go down a route that you have been down a million times before, notice the things that you haven't always noticed before. And that just really taught me stuff a lot along the way, because even in places where like if it's my Sabbath and I'm completely off work, it doesn't have to do with anything with just work, it's just like life in general. And it's really taught me to stay grounded, be present where I'm at, and just really be grateful for the atmosphere that I'm in, that God has placed me in. And so I always try to make a difference everywhere I go as well. And so that's just two things that I've really been working on. So I wanted to share it with y'all. So it's called Be Present. And then it says, you have a purpose, and it says you were created for a purpose. When the creator knitted you together in your mother's womb, he gave you a purpose. This is important because life without purpose is meaningless. Don't confuse busyness or achievement or success with purpose. Some people are driven to think my purpose in life is to get rich. Well, that's doable but not significant, and you may miss fulfilling your God intended purpose. Others drift day by day, dreaming about retirement, and miss out on making today count. Some imagine some better situation when life would be good, but miss what God has for them today. Your purpose is with them, is with people. Even though I can't tell you God's specific purpose and plan for your life, I can say with certainty that you are created for a relationship with Him. You are also designed to bless others. When it's all about me, we become narcissistic. If you live focused only on how God will meet your needs and satisfy your wants, you will lose sight of your purpose to be a blessing to others wherever you go. The truth is, when you see your life make a difference in someone else's life, that will make your life more abundant. I'm not talking about being best friends with everyone you meet, but also making a difference in somebody's life who you can encounter today. I know this may create an interruption in your day, but I encourage you to stay open and available. The fallacy is believing that when all your needs are met, then you can think about helping others. That will never happen. Aren't we all a black hole of need? So here's the question: have we lost the margin in our lives to bless others? We live at a furious pace, running busy schedules with our kids so they don't get behind in life. We often think, I would invite people over, but I just don't have the time. The author of the book, The Turquoise Table, says, with no margin in our lives, the idea of being present seems out of reach. How can I be present without distractions? Today, be conscious about how you often miss connecting with others because you're interacting with your phone. Imagine putting your phones down so we can enjoy a moment with someone nearby. People don't need the light of our devices to shine on them. What they need to see is the light of Jesus shining through us. Light is a beautiful thing when it shines in the darkness. And if you've heard this over and over again, light overpowers darkness every single day. And so if you're in a room that's completely dark and then you have just like even just a little bitty lighter and you light it up, it's going to overpower that room. Okay. And so be that light in the darkness today. And so there's a couple of key points that I wanted to touch on today, and where it says you were created for a purpose. And a lot of us dream of something like success, money, all these different things. Like that's me all the way. Like if you look at my dream board, most of it has to do with money, but I still have a lot of things that aren't money related. But I really like what money can do. And I don't think there's a bad thing, but I think there's a difference between wanting it so much and knowing that that's your purpose, and then knowing the difference between that purpose and then God's purpose He intended for you. And that's something that I've had to break up this past year, is realizing like I have to serve others if I want to elevate anywhere in my life, because I've tried going to the next level and doing it alone and doing the things where it's just me all the time. And it always ends up crashing and burning. And I've learned from good experiences, like I wouldn't take any of those back. But if I could save you any hardship along the way, even in just in this business, but in just life in general, ask yourself each day when you wake up and you open your eyes and ask yourself, how can I be a blessing to someone today? And I promise you, when you have that perspective, it always comes back on you in some way. And I'm not saying wake up and say, how can I be a blessing today so I can receive blessings? But you can say, like, you know what? I want to be a blessing today. And I hope that it overflows back into my cup. And it always does, some shape or some form. Something happened yesterday. Um, Oh, this is so simple. Okay, you guys, this is so like just the simplest thing. So this can show you like it can be anywhere in your life. It wasn't yesterday. I was at a wedding Saturday and I gave this woman a compliment. I was like, your outfit is literally so beautiful. And she was like, oh my gosh, thank you so much. Didn't think anything about it. Didn't expect a compliment back. I was just like, oh my gosh, yeah, of course. I walk out and then instantly someone comes to me and they're like, your outfit is flawless. And I was like, thank you. And so like it's funny because even if it's just a simple compliment, you giving it, you instantly you receive it some way somehow. Okay, even if someone weren't to say your outfit is beautiful and nobody told me that, I wouldn't have thought anything of it. But it was just like an instant like gratification. We don't always get gratifications instantly when we want them, but in that instant, I was like, oh, that was nice, you know? And so that can kind of give you the perspective of the return rate. Sometimes it can be really quick, a blessing that you get back. And then sometimes it waits a little bit longer. I manifest money. I pray over money all the time, but I also, before every time I receive a paycheck or receive a fast start or receive some type of money, I always ask God to help me be a good steward of it. Because when I used to make a lot of money, when I first started making a lot of money in the business, I wasn't a good steward of it. I was a good steward in it selfishly, where I've never been bad with money. So it wasn't like I just blew it on everything. It was in a sense of like, I just paid off all my debt. I didn't think about tithing. I didn't think about giving back. It was simply in a selfish manner. And I lost it. Okay. And so I lost rank. I lost where I was at in the moment. And I was like, wow, that was a really good paycheck. That went very quickly. And I realized it was a self check of God saying, no, 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 no. I gave you this money, but you're acting like this money is your source, like from you solely, from the work that you did, not even your team, but from the work you did. I got to ground you some way. I have to humble you. And so I lost it. And then that's when it kind of built back up. And I was like, okay, God, use me as a good steward. Like I want to use your money properly. Last year was the first year that I ever tithed consistently, even if I got like sample cash, even if I got money in the mail for my birthday. And this year when we got wedding cash, I tithe from it. And so I know to be that, like that obedience is going to bring me some type of relief and blessing in life. And so I just want y'all to feel that blessing come back. And if y'all don't know anything about tithing, feel free to ask. It's definitely a learning process for me, but God always tells you to give your first 10% to him. And if you're not super spiritual and you're on your first faith journey, I promise you, it's like when I started tithing and obeying like his what am I trying, his like demands of like giving back his 10% because it's his money. It just, that's when like the blessings really came through, where I instantly felt like I know that you're going to provide no matter what. And so that can be another topic another day. But anyways, so we all have a purpose. And so I want you to really go day by day and asking God to fulfill your purpose in some way, shape, or form, instead of sitting here and saying, God, what's my purpose for my life? Like, what am I going to do when I'm 65? You know, instead of thinking that far ahead, take it day by day and just ask God and like tell him to open up your time. And then also, if you have quiet time with him, this is really valuable, but just like pray to him and say, God, like, what do you want me to do today? Like, show me how to be a good steward of your time, your money, your efforts, your resources, all the things that you give me. Open up the doors. And I promise you, there are some things that will pop up immediately. And then maybe throughout the day, you'll see little instances. Okay. And so it's pretty amazing to see that. And then another thing that I wanted to hint on was, it says your purpose is people. Even though I can't tell you God's specific purpose and plan for your life, I can say with certainty that you were created for a relationship with him. You were also designed to bless others. Sometimes when we think that it's all about us, we think that there's not enough blessing to go around. And I can tell y'all from personal experience, it's just not true. The more that you give, the more that you receive back. And it's not always like money, okay? It's not always like tangible things, but you will be provided for. And that's like just something that I really want to go into August about. And that's why I chose this topic, is because I want people to feel purpose-filled this month. I want people to wake up every single day. And obviously life happens. Life is going to hit you sometimes, or something's going to happen, or your day is going to get messed up because your kid was crying or whatever. Understandable. But in those moments, I want you to wake up every single day energetic to know that you're living in purpose for God. And when you live in a purpose full of God instead of a purpose for yourself, it is a way different territory. You wake up more joyful. You don't wake up like the weight of the world is on your shoulders. You don't wake up selfishly. You just wake up and saying, God, release what it is that I need to release and allow me to be a blessing to someone today. And again, like, it doesn't have to be your money. And so many people think that in order to be a blessing to someone, it's like you have to have money. Like I have family members who are extremely wealthy, and they are all about money, to where if I like, they think that just like them giving their money and like paying for things for you is like the way to your heart. Okay. And so like whenever something happens and you really need them in a different way, they're like, oh, here's $100, here's $200 and stuff. And I'm like, no, that's like, you're missing the point of this. And so don't be that person that's just like, I don't have money to give. No, but you have a lot of other things. You have time, you have resources, you have encouragement, you have empowerment. And then also you're very vulnerable. We always preach in this business, especially, be vulnerable with the things that you're going through. Someone can really connect with you with the things that you're going through. I can tell y'all, anytime that someone shares something on social media, and this is where I think social media can be used so powerfully, and people sometimes look at social media in a negative light, but I think it could be so powerful in so many different ways. And that's what I am planning to use it for. That's what I use it for. But anytime that I've like woken up on like the wrong side of the bed, and I woke up irritable, and then I looked on social media and someone posted something encouraging saying, sister, today is not the day you give up. Or, yesterday I was in my depression, so I'm telling you today that you can make it out, or whatever it might be. That's encouraging, you guys. That helps me know that I'm not alone. And when someone speaks about their story, like how many times do y'all connect with people when they tell their story of when they went through the valleys in this business? How many times do you connect with them instead of them talking about their highs, but when they talk about their lows? How many times are you like, because she went through that, I can do this now? Instead of someone saying, oh, I went triple diamond in 30 days and then made $1 million in like 50 seconds. And I don't relate to that, you guys, because that's not my story. Okay. So when someone relates to me and says like, hey, I went through this, that's a blessing. Okay. That allows me to see that I'm not alone. So use your resources and use your time and use your energy and use all these things to be a blessing to someone today. Like that girl who gave me a compliment on Saturday, that really made my night. Like that really made me happy. I felt confident. I was like, okay. And we're all girls in here. So, when you walk around confidently, it's like a whole nother level, like a whole nother confidence booster. Whereas you just feel gross about yourself, or you feel like, ugh, like when I was not working out, when I was not eating healthy, when I had acne, like I just did not feel about myself. And it's not all about physical things, but you know what I'm saying? Like it's just a whole nother level of confidence. So give someone that confidence today. And then, what is it? I asked last night, so this can kind of give you perspective, because right here it says the truth is when you see your life make a difference in somebody else's life, that will make your life more abundant. And I asked my team last night on our team Zoom, are you living in a scarcity mindset or are you living in abundance mindset? And I can tell y'all from experience that I've lived in both. And they go in waves. Sometimes I'm like, why am I acting so scarce? Like, for instance, like I am so cheap, and it drives me crazy to the point where I like told my best friend, she's not in this business, but I told my best friend and I was like, can you just take my card and just tell me what to spend my money on? Like, just please freaking take me. And we went to Colorado together, and she's a money spender. Okay. And she either makes equivalent to me or she makes more, but she makes good money. And she like spends money like left and right, and she's very generous, she's very giving, and she just doesn't think of money as like this thing that's like limited. And so she was just like, all right, we're gonna go do this, we're gonna go do this, we're gonna go do this. And I was like, I'm not gonna question you, let's freaking do it. And you need people like that in your life, because it's not like, I don't know how to explain this in a different way, but you have to live in more of an abundance mindset. And I can tell you guys, when I went on the trip with her, I was like, and I looked at my bank account, because we spent a good amount of money, and I looked at my bank account and I'm like, and I still have money at the end of the day. Even if I didn't, God's going to provide if I choose to use his resources, his time, all this good stuff, like in a generous way. And so I just like, it opened my eyes to live more abundantly instead of more scarce, because it's not fun living scarce. Like, it's just like, you're not broke, or maybe you are broke, and then so you don't know where to spend money. You feel guilty if you spend money, but if like you don't spend your money, then you're like, well, crap, why do I work if I can't spend my money on my own things sometimes? And so, off topic, but are you living a scarcity mindset or are you living an abundance mindset? And so that's something that I asked my team last night, and I want to have you ask yourself that every single day. When you're living in a scarcity mindset, you're not trusting God with the things that he's given you today. You're not trusting God with the resources or the business or whatever tools that you have in your life today. And I want you to trust God. I want you to have that feeling of feeling joyful and feeling like you're trusting him every single walk of the way. I can tell you, living from both sides, it's way more fun to be abundant and be like, you know what? I'm going to spend this freaking $100 on me, but also I'm going to spend another $10 to bless someone else or whatever. And it's just abundance. Like, I don't even know how to explain it until you start living in that mindset. Um, but it's really good. Like, Dallas and I have been buying things left and right for the wedding, even though I'm still like cautious. I'm just like, it's money. Like, it will come back to me in abundance. Like, I'm obedient with my money, so I can trust God that if I want to do things for myself, I'm not going to feel guilty about it. And that's something that I've like really have had a really hard time with, because like I said, I'm really cheap. Like, I just, if some of the things that I do because I'm so cheap, Dallas is like, Macy, and I'm like, I know, just don't even judge me, like, just stop it. But it says that, but I encourage you to stay open and available. The fallacy is believing that when all your needs are met, then you can think about helping others. That will never happen. Aren't we all in a black hole of need? So yeah, if you think about it, like, you can't sit here and say, when I get my finances right, I'll be able to bless someone. Everybody else is struggling too in some aspect. It's not always money, but it is, someone needs your time. And then I bet you when you give them your time, they might provide something with money related, or not even money, but it was something that you needed that would have costed you money. And so you have that exchange of overflow of blessings. And I just want people to feel that this month. And I just love the month of August because it's my birthday month, but also we're like a month out from our wedding. And we just have a lot going on this month, and I'm so excited. And I chose to wake up today and not be fearful, not be anxiety driven, not have these fears that go into my mind of creeping, like, what if, what if, what if, what if. I'm just going to live abundance and see how it works. And I want y'all to feel that. And I want y'all to be giving of your time or your efforts or your resources today, and give yourself a purpose of what to do today with the, every time y'all hop on here, I feel like every time you hop on here, you learn something new. And I'm not like putting this in a situation where I'm like bragging or boasting about myself. I know every single time I get on a Zoom, whether it's someone who's below me in the business, and I don't mean below like as in like, oh, they don't mean as much to me. I mean, like, just rank wise. I feel like with each rank, you learn more things, you grow into your leadership. So I do believe that I know a little bit more than some people. But then in other cases, I don't, because y'all have life experiences that I can't relate to. So when y'all talk about your babies and what they're going through, I learn something new every single day. So I'm just saying that you're learning something new every single day on here. Why not share what you learned on here with someone else on your stories? Every single time I read a book, every single time I do personal development, I learn something every single day. So I go share it. And if your brand or you don't feel like your purpose is to share encouragement, you can find it in some aspect, some way. If you know someone who's going through a really hard time right now, just message them a Bible verse, or message them something that you learned, or tell them you're praying over them. It can make a difference. And I promise you, when you're a blessing into other people's life, it just feels really good. So I really wanted to talk about that this month, today specifically, so we could start off the month with like this mindset of going into abundance and going into being blessings for others, because I truly want us to all experience the grace of God, of what he has for us. And I want us to experience that overflow of blessing in so many different ways, not even just financially. And so I hope that helps. My voice is going out. I still do not feel 100%. Let me stop this